Lights, camera, action, Hollywood. Hollywood seems like the it place to be. You got the hottest celebrities, exclusive parties, and lots of juicy gossip.
But sadly, Hollywood life is not as luxurious as they made it out to be. It's filled with deceit, drugs, manipulation, betrayal, seduction, and of course, murder. It's truly like a telenovela.
Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm your host, Lindsay Ivan.
And I'm your other host, Eamon Hassan, and today, Linz and Ames are gonna be bringing you the top 10 scary Hollywood secrets part 2.
And don't forget to check out part 1 as well because it's a pretty juicy video.
Starting us off at number 10 are award shows. Now, I don't think this is a secret by any means, but maybe not everyone knows that award shows in Hollywood are extremely corrupt. If you want to win an award, maybe best film, best newcomer, best whatever you want, it's not going to be your raw talent and effort that's going to win you the title, it's going to be the amount of ass licking that you can do. For example, back in 1968, everyone thought that the Golden Globes were chosen by a poll of correspondence, but then the Federal Communications Commission outed them and said it was actually based on internal politicking amongst the board members. Let's just think about it for a second. Back in 1981, Pia Zadora won Best Newcomer for the movie Butterfly. Who the hell is she, and what even was that movie? No one remembers because it wasn't a good performance, but why did she win, you may be wondering? Because her husband paid off members of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. It's actually been publicized that groups, individuals, and board members are corrupt. They accept gifts, holidays, money, favors, you name it, in exchange for nominations and wins. So it's not that Leonardo DiCaprio took that long to win Best Actor, he probably just refused to participate in all the corruption. And this isn't even the tip of the iceberg. I haven't even spoken about racism and unfair representation within nominees. But that's gonna be a long video and I don't have time.
In our 9th spot, we have Charles Harrelson. Now, you may be like, who is Charles Harrison? The name doesn't really ring a bell. Well, he is actually the father of Woody Harrelson. But what a lot of people don't know is that his father was a cold-blooded killer. I know, it came as a big shocker to me too. So Charles Harrelson was an American hitman and organized crime figure. It's said that he was responsible for the deaths of at least 20 people. In 1979, that is when Charles committed his biggest kill of all time. He took out a federal judge by the name of Judge John H. Wood Jr. He was paid $250,000 to kill off this judge. It was because a drug dealer was about to be sentenced by this judge, who was known as Maximum John, because he always gave out really harsh punishments to drug dealers. So he got Charles to knock him off. He then spent his life in solitary confinement until he died. But before his death, Charles said that he was involved in JFK's assassination. Crazy. But I'm just glad that Woody went down a much better path than his father.
At number 8, we have Keith Richards. So if you live under a rock or are too young like a Gen Z, then you probably won't know who Keith Richards is. Now, Keith is an English singer-songwriter who co-founded the Rolling Stones. He was in the rock band as a guitarist, secondary vocalist, and co-principal songwriter, and as a rock star, the man did a lot of drugs in his lifetime. But the creepiest, scariest thing he did was revealed in 2007 during an interview for NME magazine. Richards was asked what was the strangest thing he ever snorted, and he replied by saying, "My father." Like, excuse me? He continued on by saying, "I snorted my father. He was cremated and I couldn't resist grinding him up with a little bit of blow. My dad wouldn't have cared. It went down pretty well and I'm still alive." This man snorted his own dad and I don't really know what to think of that and do with that information. I mean, he is Keith Richards, so I mean, he is a living rock legend, but should we just let him get away with that? I don't know.
Making our way down the list at number 7, we have The Animals. Of course, all movies that feature animals have to have a disclaimer that says no animals were harmed in the making of this film. But most of the time, that's a big lie. Animals often do get injured on set. In the 1939 film Jesse James, there's a scene where a horse runs off a cliff and into a lake. Well, that horse was actually forced to do that and ended up drowning. Of course, that was way back in the day, and there wasn't as many restrictions when using animals in films. But nowadays, it still happens. In 2013, a series of emails got leaked between American Humane Association colleagues. These colleagues were monitoring film sets. One email read that the tiger in Life of Pi almost drowned, but he went on saying that he just downplayed the incident. Then it said that 27 animals died on the set of The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey. Dozens of marine life were killed during Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl, and 4 horses died during the production of HBO's Luck. These are just some examples. Films legally have to have that disclaimer on their films, but it doesn't mean that it's true.
Coming in at number 6 is the Mafia. Now apparently Hollywood has huge ties with the Mafia, which is shocking, but as the series progresses, it's not really that shocking at all. Now, the Mafia seems to have their claws in literally everything. Not even art is safe anymore. Nothing is sacred. Now apparently this mobster called Mickey Cohen ran the Hollywood underworld in the 50s, and so a lot of crime units would invest money in certain films to make their dirty money clean. That, my friend, is good old-fashioned Hollywood case of money laundering. Everyone kind of wins if you think about it. A movie gets the funding that it needs, and the bad guys get away with their crimes while remaining rich. Who said Hollywood had morals anyway? They don't. Actors like Leonardo DiCaprio, Christian Bale, and Casey Affleck have all been suspected of money laundering as well. Just when you thought they were safe, they weren't.
We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with prison life. Some of your favorite Hollywood stars might have had a life of crime before becoming famous actors. Now, some of these came as a huge surprise to me. For example, Mark Wahlberg. In 1988, when Mark was 16 years old, he was sentenced to 2 years in prison after assaulting 2 Vietnamese men. On that day, he got in a fight with the men, yelling racial slurs at them before knocking one of the men unconscious with a stick, and then he punched the other. It was said that these offenses were unprovoked. But in 2014, he met with the victim, his wife, and his daughter and apologized for his past acts. He also released a statement saying that he isn't trying to cover up his past. Instead, he wants people to remember it, to show them how everyone is capable of turning their lives around. Then we have Tim Allen. Before Tim Allen was the star of Home Improvement and Pixar's classic family-friendly movie Toy Story, Allen actually spent time behind bars. In 1978, Allen was arrested for attempting to traffic more than 650 grams of coke. Now, he actually would have served a lifetime in prison, but he avoided this by giving police information about other dealers. Tim Allen, though, who would have thought? Certainly not me. He seems so innocent, but he's not.
Filling a number 4 slot is Oscarexia. I don't even need to get into the fact that society, and especially Hollywood, has not only set such a high, unattainable standard for women and their bodies, but it's a vicious cycle since the women in Hollywood don't even have those bodies. They're either starving themselves for it or are getting heavily photoshopped with or without their consent. For example, back in 2013, right before the Oscars, Jennifer Lawrence admitted she had been starving all day and was very, very hungry. Naomi Watts further confirmed that when she dubbed the whole thing Oscarexia, which means starving yourself throughout award season because you know your body's going to be scrutinized by literally everybody. Actress Eden Sher brought up this treatment called slim wrapping that they do before award shows as well. Basically, a technician wraps your body fully, and I mean toes, neck, wrist, everything, in 15 to 20 tight ace bandages that have this cloudy mineral solution on them. Then you're meant to jump on a trampoline for 50 minutes, and that's meant to make you lose weight. It's simply ridiculous and unattainable. Not even the women Hollywood are trying to sell to us that have those bodies have those bodies. It makes sense. Listen to it again.
In our 3rd spot, we have the stuntman. Being a stuntman would be pretty cool, except for the fact that it's a very, very dangerous job, and they often get badly injured or die during films. First off, the highest paid stunt doubles make about $250,000 a year. Meanwhile, the actors get millions per movie, and they're the ones risking life and limb. It's sad, but there have been tons of on-set deaths over the years. In Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, Daniel Radcliffe's stunt double got hit by a stage explosion. He was taken to the hospital and suffered an irreversible neck break. Now his arms and both of his legs are fully paralyzed. A stuntman in the Avengers had a chunk of his scalp torn off, and Bruce Willis's stunt double fell 25 feet during a stunt. Then just a couple of years ago on set of Deadpool 2, a stunt double died after being in a car crash on set. but you hardly hear about these stories in the media, which is so sad.
Now, at number 2 is Jack Nicholson. This one is wild, and considering how big of a star Jack Nicholson is, I'm like, how is this not big in news? So Jack grew up in Neptune City, New Jersey, where he lived with his sisters June and Lorraine and their parents. But in 1974, Time magazine did a lot of digging and found out Jack's sister June was actually his mother, not his sister. Mind blown. Unless everybody knows this, and I'm the only one that doesn't know this. June was only 17 years old when she became pregnant, and she wasn't married, so her parents agreed to raise the child as their own, with June and Lorraine acting like his older sisters. So his parents were actually his grandparents, and his sister Lorraine was his aunt. Now, in regards to his dad, his biographer is guessing it was most likely June's manager, not her actual husband. Other sources claim June didn't even know who his dad was. By the time Jack found this all out, his mum June and his grandma had already died. The actor claimed the reveal wasn't as traumatizing as people could have thought, but I would be pissed to know my real mum died without ever telling me the truth about that. I'm pissed. I'm not even Jack Nicholson.
And in our number 1 spot, we have the Black Dahlia. The murder of aspiring American actress Elizabeth Short is now said to be Hollywood's most famous unsolved murder. The Black Dahlia is the nickname given to Elizabeth Short after her death on January 15th, 1947. She was found dead in a vacant parking lot. Her body had been cut completely in half and drained of blood. The killer was never found or caught. Of course, over the years, people have confessed to the murder, but still, no one has ever been arrested for it. That's what makes it such a big and scary Hollywood secret. Everyone wants to know what really happened to her and why.
And that's all for today's video, guys. Let us know in the comments below which secret shocked you the most.
And now let's move on to our comment shout out portion. We'll be shouting out comments from our video, Top 10 Scary Hollywood Secrets, the first part. Hannah Grace commented, Lindsay, please go shopping for me and send me my clothes. Your style is the absolute best. Oh, thank you. I'm literally, this whole outfit was thrifted that I'm wearing, so go to the thrift store. You never know what you might find. I'm wearing men's Nike sweatpants, so. Daniel Callahan commented, I don't know why, but it throws me off every time Eamon curses. Cause she looks so innocent, and then you're like, whoa, she has a potty mouth.
And I feel like I sound really innocent when I say it as well,
Yeah.
but I'm not.
No,
I'm really not. Okay, so Backpacking America Crypto Guy says, thought the feminist was gone, can't stand her. I'm not a feminist, thank you very much. You may think I'm a feminazi, but I'm not. I'm just all for equality, and if you can't handle that, then I'm very sorry.
I was like, who is he talking
I
about?
was like, I'm sorry? No, I'm kidding. The last one is from Janek McCanninch, who says, what about most amazing top 10 secrets? Who's gonna tell us about that?
Alright, we're just playing around.
We
That's
do.
good.
We do have a juicy office. I'm not gonna lie.
We do.
We have some juicy secrets.
We have a lot of secrets. And that's all the comments we're shouting out for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in our next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan.
I've been your other host, Eamon Hassan.
And I'll see ya when I say ya. Bye. These colleagues were monitoring. Say it. Somebody say it. What? Monitoring. Monitor. I'm gonna end up saying it with an accent if you tell me how to say it. Monitor.
First of all, I did not know that the tiger in Life of Pi was not CGI.
First of all, I hope that Air Bud was okay. That's my main concern.
Actors like Leonardo DiCaprio, Christian Bale, Martin Scorsese?
Yeah, Martin Scorsese.
Actors like Leonardo DiCaprio, Christian Bale, Martin Scorsese. I'm just gonna miss it.
You skipped it?
It was too hard!
I did the same thing. I was like, I'm just not gonna say that line.